Hello and welcome back to Bourbon Barrel Talk. Today's episode of Bourbon Barrel Talk is brought to you by Signature Painting and Coatings. They specialize in residential and small commercial painting. Owner Jeff Ostrader has been serving Louisville and Southern Indiana families for over 35 years. There is no job too small. For your no-cost obligation estimate, please contact Jeff at 502-494-0595. Signature Painting and Coatings. Hire a professional, not a painter. We are back in the Brock Bourbon Bar, and we are killing it tonight. We are doing the most underrated bourbons out there.
Yes.
Bourbon/whiskeys.
Oh, so we're going to include whiskeys in
Yeah,
it.
if you want to include whiskey, we can
Good.
include whiskey out there. So underrated bourbon or whiskeys, and we're going to have a conversation on what we think is just like people should go out and buy it because we think it's great, and it's probably not something that most people are like, oh, I got to have that. So
I've got one, Scott, that I'm ready to swing out of the gate with.
Damn, Johnny Ciromi's coming in hot.
I've got to come in hot, otherwise it's going to be a cold winter.
All right, there you go.
Four Roses Small Batch Select.
All right, Four
Ooh,
Roses
yeah.
Small Batch Select.
I think it is a perfect in between the single barrel and the regular Four Roses Small Batch. I think it's affordable. I think it's tasty. And it was one of, I don't remember, Jared, which one Four Roses was in the lineup that we did when we first started going to distilleries. But I remember.
First one.
No, Woodford was the first one.
Woodford. I'm sorry.
It was the second one. I think it was the second one that we did. So it's kind of like a personal thing where I was new into the bourbon game. And so that one was kind of one of the earlier ones that I had tried, but I really think that it gets overlooked sometimes.
It's a little special in your heart, huh?
It's a little special in the heart.
All right,
But for a good price at Costco.
there you go.
Yeah.
Barbara, are you ready?
I am ready.
What's up, Babs? What you got?
Westward.
What?
Westward.
Westward.
What?
Westward whiskey.
Westward.
Isn't that a TV show?
What is that?
Oh, no, that's Westworld. Never mind.
Westworld.
Yeah.
No, it's the one that we've done a podcast
Yes,
on it before.
we tried it.
Yes.
It wasn't bad. I don't know that I would consider that underrated, but okay. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. Is there a specific Westward, or are we just talking about them in general?
Just in general.
Just in general?
Just in general. I think this, in particular, this area doesn't understand how good it can be.
Okay. I'm gonna let you slide on this one.
This area.
So I might have to throw the smack down at some point to somebody tonight.
Remind
so.
me, where's Westward out of?
Washington State, right?
Yes.
Or is it Oregon?
It's
Washington
Oregon.
State.
Oregon.
Oregon. I knew it was one of those two.
Oregon. Yep.
Gotcha.
Barbara, by this
Or
area,
northwest.
do you mean like that
Westward.
side of the room?
No, I mean like the Kentucky area that doesn't necessarily get the bourbons or whiskeys from the West Coast.
All right, Jared.
I'm stealing one from Mr. Jazz Knob himself. JTS Bottle and Bond.
JTS Brown Bottled and Bond.
Mhm.
It's a
It's
solid
good.
pour, man.
It's good.
Solid pour.
It's
definitely underrated.
Inexpensive.
Yep.
That's
It's
my
it's
two
hard to
cents.
beat. It's a
Yeah.
it's a
Absolutely.
solid Heaven Hill product.
It ain't gonna blow your socks off, but by God, it's gonna do the job.
Gotcha.
It's like a hardworking middle class person. They go do the job.
Yep.
Okay.
Peanut Gallery, shut the fuck up.
Are we having a whole conversation? If y'all want to be on the podcast, you all should have never left the mics. Godly, man, what asshats over here.
And we were very
I know you were very
very
congenial and nice.
very, very thoughtful.
That's what happens when it goes to your head.
I
and
know,
you just think
man.
you can talk whenever the hell you want.
I know.
Good
Oh,
God.
Lord.
What are we going to do with them?
Nick acts like he owns this house or something. Shit, just talks
Yeah.
whenever he wants.
Don't get me started on that one.
Scott, throw one out there for us.
For me,
yeah.
this is my personal, I think it is the most underrated bottle out there, and mainly because I don't think when people see it, they go, oh, it's just an everyday shelfer, blah, 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 blah. OGD 114.
Yep.
Oh, Granddad 114 is a solid-ass pour.
It is
It's
solid.
never disappointed me.
Correct.
I'm
Absolutely.
glad you said that because that's one I've never tried. I've always overlooked it for whatever reason. No, honestly, for whatever reason.
Your brother-in-law's
yeah,
are
you're gonna-
halfway
It's
across.
coming. It's coming in
universe.
hot right now. How have you never tried that?
Incoming.
It's one of those that
How
I
long have you been doing a
always,
podcast? Like a year now.
I always thought that it was just a.
There.
Oh, thanks, Carl.
Live review right now. Jonathan
Live review,
David
we're gonna-
Ernstberger.
No, the reason I always thought it was, for some reason in my mind, was like gasoline, and I don't. Someone told me that it was probably an uncle whatever, I don't know, but someone mentioned that they just hated that bourbon, and so it's always stuck in my mind that I just never wanted to try.
Now,
it,
ironically, it goes with one of the most overrated bourbons, Basil Hayden.
Yep.
'Cause it's the exact same mash bill, but it's 114
Seriously?
proof.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
exact same
Yep.
shit.
Well, I hate Basil
matter of fact,
Hayden, so
matter of fact,
I don't know.
the picture of OGD 114 on the front is actually Basil Hayden.
Oh, the nose on that's not bad. It's
Yeah.
very-
No.
So
Yeah.
you sniff and
Definitely-
enjoy,
Okay,
and,
I'm just gonna
and
stick
we'll
that
come
back
back
in
to some
for a
other
second.
folks.
Stick your pecker in it. Enjoy it. Sorry. Barbara.
Jared, what are we
Babs.
going to do with you?
Wouldn't fit in the glass. Sorry.
He said, "Call me tuna can Ernstberger.
You can multiply mine
2
by
inches
100
long,
and
4
it
inches
would.
thick.
I'm going to say benchmark.
Any,
Okay.
all, just
Just
regular
benchmark in
A?
general.
Probably
or are we going
foolproof.
Okay, there we go.
Ooh, foolproof is good. I do love foolproof. You can't go wrong with
Yeah.
top floor is good after it's
Yeah.
opened.
Yes, it has to be open for a while.
Bottle and Bond is really delicious.
Okay, okay.
Single barrel is just single barrel. I mean,
Yeah.
you're gonna have some one that you like and some that you don't.
Exactly. Yeah, no.
And what's the last one I missed? Oh, small batch. Actually, I don't know if I've ever had this small batch. Actually,
Small batch is not bad.
I may have.
Benchmark
It's been
8 to
forever,
me is
but
just
Okay.
it's benchmark 8. Like there's
Yeah.
nothing
Okay.
flashy about it, but I would agree. I think I think benchmark foolproof is pretty solid pour.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It is Stag Junior. It's GTS. It's just 3 years old.
Shut up.
Listen, everybody and
I'm
their
just
mom
kidding.
knows this by now. Everybody. and their
Yeah,
mom.
at this point,
Matter of fact, I think I've recorded those exact words on this podcast probably about 5 times already.
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
So anybody that's listening knows that I'm in that ballpark.
You know what else you've recorded on this podcast about 5 times?
Your mom, what?
What's a
Yeah,
stone
that
fruit,
one.
Scott?
Yeah, I know, for real.
all right. Jared, your turn.
My next one I got is Green River.
Ooh.
I had their batch one.
Yeah.
And I, for, $30-$35 a bottle, it's solid. I mean, you
Okay.
can't beat it. I mean, it sits right there with some of the other, right in that price range that are,
Yeah. Green River, yeah. OZ Tyler, whatever you want to call it.
yeah, pretty much.
I hear you.
All right.
OZ
All right.
Tyler was a cool name. But
So here's one that a lot of people may not know about, but I've had probably about 30 to 40 bottles of it, and I'm gonna say of the 30 to 40 bottles that I've tried, I've enjoyed 90% of them Jepson's.
Ooh, okay.
Not to mention the Malort Fire. Jepson's Malort. Matt, yes, no.
Jasnov has this look on his face like Scott needs to be quiet.
I don't know.
For the rest of the evening.
What? You don't like Jepson's?
Scott.
Matt coming in hot.
I don't like Malort.
Like Malort? I figured you would be a Malort guy.
No.
You like weird shit.
Who was ever? No.
No? Okay. All right, never mind then. I thought the
Malort
Malort
is a joke. It's fermented wormwood.
I know
Nobody
it's,
actually is
it's
like.
absinthe. I know.
No. It's worse than that.
Yeah,
It's fermented wormwood.
Yeah.
That's quote of the day right there. I don't think
right.
I've ever heard those words together in the same sentence.
but I think Jepson's is it's a little Chicago distillery. I think they do some quality stuff there.
I was like,
Okay.
never had it.
All right.
Well,
you tried
Jepson's
OGD
not
114.
Yeah.
What's the tsunami review?
It's a decent pour.
See, underrated.
It's got some floral notes to it. It's got some vanilla sweetness. It has a decent mouthfeel. Doesn't linger too long. Not the best I've had, not the worst I've had. I think it's actually better than what I was anticipating. Not a gasoline fire that I was expecting.
Anticipating.
Yeah.
What you anticipate?
Next lineup that I have is the whole series of Breckenridge bourbon out of Breckenridge, Colorado.
You do like the
Okay, yeah.
So I've had some Breckenridge. I thought some of them were okay. I've had some that I was like, eh.
Do you have the single barrel?
Yeah, I had a single barrel or two. I've tried. I'm not saying it's trash. I'm just saying, because there's really only one bourbon that I think is trash, and we've talked about this multiple times.
Basil Hayden.
That's trash. Okay, 2. Henry McKenna 10.
I knew that was the other one. I just
All right.
wanted to see what you said.
Anyway,
Have you talked about Henry McKenna 10? I'm not entirely certain.
maybe the whole entire episode the last time.
Right. The whole, yeah.
Last week's entire
go back
episode
into it,
was
just for
nothing
fun.
but Henry McKenna 10. All right, Barbara, what do you got?
Okay. I'm pulling it up. Hold on.
Do 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 do.
Prepared is not her
You're
strong
losing
suit.
the Babs
Go ahead.
nickname.
Y'all just do not quite get me. Not my fault. Y'all kept talking and my phone turned off.
Okay.
New riff.
New Riff. Okay, like New Riff in general?
Their malted 6-year rye is delicious.
Oh
Well,
my God,
hell
yes,
yeah.
it is.
But
That is fantastic.
that one's one of my
I
favorites.
think all
but
their ryes are pretty good.
yeah.
They're better than the
So
bourbons.
so
in my
so
opinion.
then are we going to say New Riff bourbon then? Is
Okay,
maybe-
yeah.
Okay.
Well, we can go bourbon.
I think their bourbons are hit and miss.
Their stuff is.
I would agree.
All their own juice.
I think
right?
most of their rye are pretty good though.
What'd you say, Jared?
Their stuff is all their own juice, right?
Yeah, now. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
I think they did do a couple of collabs recently that there was maybe some old MGP juice they had left, if I remember correctly. Like they did some kind of special, like 12 or 15 year release or something they did. It might have been leftover stock from the old OKI days, the original OG OKI, not new OKI.
Okay. Gotcha. All right, Jared, your turn.
So actually, this is not mine. This is from the legend himself.
I was gonna wonder
The legend.
if anybody else was gonna pull that one out.
The legend.
I have it up
The
on my
legend
phone
has
as
not
well.
been on a podcast in a long time.
He hasn't.
He's been avoiding Jared.
Probably. He's
Probably.
Like
Now he's
that
really
young
gonna
piece of
avoid
shit.
you.
his late not subscription.
Submission.
Thank
There
you.
you go.
Submissive, huh? Is that you? Get you a little leather outfit and a little gag ball.
Bring out the gimp.
Big out the gimp.
Joke's on you. I am the gimp. That's not even.
Oh, get to the
It's just a
pick.
bad thing.
Go ahead. What did the
He
legend say?
said Michter's sour mash is underrated and better than the toasted sour mash, in his honest opinion. That is what the legend said.
So
That's fighting words a little bit.
I'll pick. So
Don't
to
yell
me,
at me.
to me, the sour mash is actually my least favorite of
Okay.
the Michter's products.
Agreed.
Okay.
But to piggyback that, the Michter's American whiskey is very underrated.
Is it?
Solid pour.
Yeah.
I think they're bourbon.
And I think the only reason it's not
they're
considered bourbon is I think it's only 49% corn
Okay.
or 48% corn, something like that.
Okay.
So it would just be
Piggybacking
an
off of-
American whiskey. at that
Huh?
point. Just an American whiskey at that point.
Yeah, it's just American whiskey because it has to be 51% corn.
Correct.
We wanted to go to Michter's today, but they are booked out until almost the end of July.
Oof.
Huh. Who was we?
Ashley and myself.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
That'd be fun.
We drank wine.
Taking the boss. I like that.
Yeah.
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 I'm
Who's
picking
Ashley?
up that. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Who's Ashley?
Your fucking sister, dumbass.
No, my sister's name is Bob.
Oh my god. Go jump off the Sherman mitten.
All right. Who's next? Am I next?
You're next.
It's you.
Yeah, but it's you.
All right. So this is one that I've only had maybe one or two ever that I've not enjoyed.
Okay.
But all the rest of them I've ever had, I've found a liking to. Wilderness Trail Rye.
Oh, yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. Agreed.
And I think a lot of people sleep on Wilderness Trail just in general, but especially the ryes. Like their ryes are fire.
Yeah.
Like I just think Wilderness Trail, what Pat and Shane are doing up there, just killing it.
Yeah. They've got quite, we've got quite a few over here.
The Starlight
I see
pick
at least
that
two.
we went to not too long ago was
Yeah.
the Wilderness Trail Rye.
Okay. Cool.
So, all right, Tsunami, what you got?
For my final one for the evening, I have the collaboration between Jim Beam and Suntory Whiskey out of Japan, Legion.
Legion.
I was really surprised with how much I enjoyed that.
I will say, I didn't think it was a bad pour.
Okay.
I don't know that I felt like it was like over the top, like that's a really, really solid thing. But I will say, for the fact that it was Japanese whiskey finished with port, not bad.
I admit I'm not sure I've had that one.
Really?
Again, this podcast is not today's episode of the greatest ports ever. It's just underrated.
No,
Just
Yeah,
I think a lot of people
absolutely.
don't even. I don't think a lot of people.
I don't think a lot of
have
people even
tried it.
Yeah, that, I would
Yeah.
say a lot of people don't even venture into that Japanese whiskey realm
No.
if you're a bourbon drinker.
I've had Hibiki by Satori.
Yeah,
And
Hibiki
it-
is good.
Hibiki is really good.
Yeah, I've had some really good Hibikis. I've had some that were a little, but for the most part, I've had some really good ones.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, what about you? Last one, bringing it home, bring it big,
Down home.
down home, underrated. Yeah,
Their toasteds are pretty good.
Bingo.
Yes.
I feel like Robert's doing some good work out there. Most of it's MGP.
Oh, that was my question.
Now that being said, I mean
thought that's a bad thing.
he's got some really unique stuff too. I mean,
Yeah.
some of those 18-year Alberta ryes were fire.
What is?
Alberta rye, Canadian ryes.
Oh, Alberta. Never mind.
Alberta.
You
Not
weren't
Alberta.
listening.
I missed the second
Alberta.
half of that word.
That's okay. I might have like half burped there. I didn't realize it.
Nah.
Alberta.
No, he just wasn't listening.
That's possible. But yeah, I think what Robert Nim's doing, is he's doing some fine work out there. So
Seems like a nice gentleman.
Yep.
gotcha. All right, last.
I think you said she was last.
No, I'm saying that was
No,
her
it was
last
my
pick.
last
Her last pick.
Doofus.
Oh, my bad. So my one got stolen with the benchmark.
Okay.
So I'm trying to come up with something off the top of my head.
What was something else that somebody said in the group chat?
Shank
Rebel
said
100, actually.
Yeah, Shank
was
said
one.
Rebel 100.
Yeah.
Okay, here's one that I think is another one that Ryan said. Shanks is okay, but I
No,
would,
not Shanks.
Oh.
Shank. Him.
oh
Carl.
Shank. What did Shank say?
He said Rebel 100.
Oh, Rebel 100.
Yeah, which is what I just fucking said.
Okay, I thought you meant like Shanks. You were talking about Shanks bourbon. I'm like,
No.
I don't know that that's underrated, but
not Shanks, which is a product of Michter's.
Yes,
Shank.
gotcha.
The person.
I understand what you're saying now.
I don't know. Do you?
Oh my god, I'm gonna punch him.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of his mouth?
So Cooper's Craft, I would agree, is probably an underrated bourbon. We have somebody flashing us a bottle right now. Nick is
Thankfully,
That
he's
would be-
not also just flashing himself. That would
Nick
be
Nick
weird.
is Vanna Whiting that shit over there. I like
Don't
it.
tempt them.
Now that being said, I'll be honest with you. The one that I thought that was underrated that I liked on somebody else's list that I agreed with, and that was on my list, but I could only have 3. Russell's 10.
I do.
White label Russell's 10.
Goes great
Solid
with a cigar.
pours.
Phenomenal with a cigar.
Do you think
Is that really underrated, though? I mean, I would agree.
So
I think it is.
Jazzy is holding a bottle of Jack Daniel's single barrel proof?
And
Yeah.
that's a really good point.
Yeah.
That is fantastic.
So
love
I will say
JDBB.
this. I think in general, most of those are probably fairly underrated only because of the fact that Jack Daniel's barrel proof is just really good.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, some people do not have very good palates, and I've had some really bad barrel picks.
What
Okay.
about for the cost? Is it a decent bottle for
I mean,
the
it's
cost?
like, what, $79, $89, $99?
God, I thought it was-
I'm thinking. So, I mean,
I thought it was a little
it's
less than
barrel
that.
strength, but the thing is, I mean, they're all bringing like 130. I mean, they're
They're
super
Okay.
high octane. So
But
I
they
mean,
don't drink that high.
No, they don't drink that
what's
high.
That's the best
amazing
part.
about
Yeah.
it. You get that lovely Jack Daniel's banana note,
Yep.
which is fantastic.
For sure. So,
Okay.
any
I want to throw a wild card out there.
okay.
All right.
One that I've been
intrigued.
sitting on
Oh.
for a while. Carl's got an obtainium.
Carl's got obtainium, and that is hit or miss.
So wait a minute now.
sometimes.
So I will say though, if you're going to generalize,
Mm-hmm.
Cat's Eye Distillery is doing some cool shit.
Yes.
Like I will say that, I appreciate what they're doing. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of it is in the Canadian whiskey realm.
I say,
A
where
lot
are they
of it is
based out
super
of? Scott?
hazmat, Iowa.
Oh.
Yeah. Is it Iowa or Illinois? Iowa.
Mississippi.
It's Iowa or Illinois. I'm pretty sure it's Iowa. It's like
Indiana.
It's like
listening
Davenport,
to
Iowa,
you.
or something like that. I
All
can't
right,
remember what
Scott
it is.
never listens.
John, what were you going to say?
Henry McKenna 10.
Trash.
Trash.
Trashing
One
your
that
mom.
I've been thinking about just while we've been sitting here, 291.
Oh, 291. Yeah. So
stuff is definitely
my thing is,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that it's underrated as much as it's unknown.
Okay. And that may be also kind of with my westward.
Yeah.
I think it's more of an unknown in this area
Yeah.
per se.
Definitely, I would agree that that's definitely
Okay.
probably more unknown than it is underrated.
Okay, I can get with that.
No, I do have one actually. Is I.W. Harper. 15 year?
How is
No?
that is not underrated, Jasnov. 1910 is not underrated. Everybody knows it. Everybody loves it. It is not underrated. There's no way in God's green earth. I'm sorry, John. Continue.
Back to the fucking discussion, Jared. No, Scott, you don't think so. I.W. Harper 15 year.
I'm not a big fan of I.W. Harper in general.
Okay.
The 15 year to me is actually overrated. And the reason I think it's overrated is because it's a 15-year bourbon and people buy it because it's a 15-year bourbon. And then when you try it, I feel like it's very underwhelming for a 15-year-old bourbon.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm getting a lot of amens, like praise Jesus, like the hallelujahs from the peanut gallery. So I'm either hitting the spot or
He's saying go.
Hey,
No, I'm just kidding.
we can
all
great
agree
thing
to
is-
disagree, right?
The great thing about this
Absolutely.
podcast is we're all friends.
Yeah.
We can
Well,
respectfully disagree.
Yeah.
I mean, you're
until,
here, Jared.
until
so-
Scott
Well.
brings the hammer down.
Yeah, every now and then I just got to be like, you're just dead wrong. But
Till
Or
Scott
I-
slings a dick down.
till I sling all 4 inches all over the table and tell you exactly what's going on.
All
You're
right,
right.
give you the death scare.
All right, anybody got any more? Any other hot takes?
I got.
So yes, I agree 100%. Still
Yeah.
Austin.
Yeah.
Now it is MGP. Most of it is.
Still,
Some of it
but
is.
you have to
That
be
bottle-
ready.
That being
So-
said, but I think still Austin, the musician, the cast strengths. I've been impressed with the 3 bottles that I've tried. I've been impressed. I've
No-
not had many because they're hard to find around here.
No, Jasnov. Fiji water is not overrated or underrated. It is just stupid.
It's just water.
No, it's totally overrated.
Yeah, it is
Fiji
overrated.
water is 100% overrated. That is some fake ass artisanal bullshit. Is what Fiji water
I messed
is.
up and I thought this was the overrated podcast for like a split second. And then I remembered.
They are not a sponsor, unfortunately, but Liquid Death is a completely wonderful mountain water beverage.
All right,
Better than Fuji.
Carl's coming in hot.
Wild Turkey Rye.
Wild Turkey Rye is underrated.
Rye or 101 or...
Any of them, honestly.
Ooh, the rare breed rye is
Gotcha.
delicious.
All right, you got one more, Nick?
Not certain,
No?
Carl.
Or
Knob Creek 12, just the 100 proof.
that's overrated.
You think it's overrated?
Yes.
I think it's delicious.
I think all the Knob Creeks that
Jared,
are
you're
not
crazy.
You're
barrel
just not a
picks.
fan of Knob Creek.
Well, not
really,
the
are you?
cast strength.
I love Knob Creek. I love Knob Creek single barrels.
Dingle
Knob
barrels?
Creek, Knob Creek single barrel
Dingleberries.
bourbon, Knob Creek single barrel ryes. I will drink them, love them, enjoy them.
Okay.
Knob Creek 9, that 12, that 15, that 18,
Overrated.
overrated. The price point's too high. It's just not that good. If they'd have left them cash
Well-
strength, I bet they would have been fire.
Really?
Or if they'd even left them close to cash strength.
The only thing I'm going to say is I'm going to butt in here on the 1910 and 1920. I think it gets lost in the Whiskey Row series, which is why I think it's a little underrated.
See, and I don't think they get lost in the Whiskey Row series. I mean, I honestly, I think 1897 is probably the most underrated of that
Agreed.
series. The Bottled and Bond,
Yeah.
1897 to me is probably the most underrated of the
Now-
Whiskey Row series.
I disagree with you on that one. I don't like the Bottle and Bond.
You don't?
I like the red one though.
So you like the 1870?
Thank you. That's
Okay.
what it was. I like the 1870. I do not like the Bottle and Bond for whatever
I
reason.
think all of the Whiskey Row series is good.
Well, you like Old Foe.
I do love Oak Farm.
I love Ovo too. I don't like the Bottle
But
and
that
Bond,
being
though.
said, I think that if to me, if there's ever one, I think a lot of bottled and bond products get overlooked.
I would
And
agree
the
with
main
that.
reason why is because I think that a lot of people either are barrel strength whores like us, or they like 90 proof.
Yeah, Henry McKenna 10 does get overlooked. I'm sorry.
But that label, it's got that dollar bill label on it. I love it.
Not underrated.
OGD 100 Bottle and Bond. Carl thinks is underrated.
It's a good pour. I don't know that it's underrated. It's just it's nobody's hyping it, nor is somebody not hyping it. People are like, "Oh, OGD, that's a good pour." That's what they say.
Do you think a lot
OGD 114, yes, underrated.
Absolutely.
for a lot of people new to bourbon, would something being underrated more fall into the category of people don't know about it, they don't know that the price is where it needs to be at? What does that look
Go
like?
ahead. Nothing. Nick's,
He's looking
Nick's
at Nick.
coming in hot with something dumb.
Oh, well, it's not dumb. Continue,
dumb.
John. We'll come to it in a minute.
I guess I'm just for like
Hey, it's not underrated at all. There's too many people that like it. And
like it.
then there's a ton of people that just hate it like me. Or
like
that think
what?
It's not,
He's behind me. I
sorry,
can't
Barton
see it.
1792 small batch. It's
Oh,
just
okay.
it's just regular bourbon. It's nothing great. It's nothing bad.
Sippable.
It's just
It's neither over or
Yes.
underrated.
Right.
Jared, I
It's
think I
delicious.
agree with you. Or
That's
I mean,
John.
John, shut
John.
up.
and I got lost because of the 1792. What did you say?
Yeah.
I was just wondering, like, for those new to bourbon, if we're talking about overrated, underrated bourbons, is it because people don't know about them? Is it because of the price point? Is it because of you're comparing it to another? Where would you start when you're talking about?
So when I think
Underrated
when I think of
bourbons.
underrated, I think of pours that are out there that are fairly readily available. Like if you go onto the shelf, most of the stuff we've talked about, I feel like you can find on the shelf. And I think a lot of people overlook those bourbons
Because
for
they're
one
hunting
reason
for
or another.
something
Because they're hunting for
else.
something else.
Right.
Like there's perfectly good pours that are sitting in front of you. And I guess when you really look at it that way, you could probably put 1910, 1920 in that underrated category.
Yeah.
I think you could probably also put Woodford Double Oak, but the problem
yeah.
is that they're all so readily available. And I think a lot of people really drink those. I think there are a lot of people that are missing out on those by trying them. But I think the only reason they're missing out on those three specific bottles
Right.
is price point. There's a lot of people
Because
that
it's
just won't
become-
spend $60
It's
for a
become a
bottle.
lucrative game.
Right. Well,
in-
just
in the hunt for
there's a
it.
lot of people that just won't spend $60 for a bottle.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, I can understand, there's a lot of people who may not necessarily have the money to be able to spend just $60 on a random bottle of bourbon or whiskey. But at the same time, you have to think about the quality that you're getting And I think that's where some of this underrated is coming into play
Yep.
that so many people don't quite get. They need to understand, yes, you're going to have to spend just a little bit more, but it's still going to knock your socks off.
Yeah. And Nick brought another bottle in here, which
And-
I agreed.
absolutely.
This was this specific, not all of their products, but this specific one I'm a big fan of is the Lost Monarch by the Redwood Empire.
You don't like their? Do you like their bourbon or no? The pipe
It's
dream?
not bad. It's not bad.
I-
but this
so-
to me is just it's a really solid pour.
That is a very solid pour. I like their pipe
Right.
dream though.
yeah.
Okay.
But
I like their pipe dream.
So
the bourbon, I think.
what
is
you're
delicious.
saying is that with the exception of Henry McKenna's Inn and Basil Hayden, you really can't go wrong with any other bourbon on the market.
oh no, I mean there's probably other bottles out there or other bourbons out there that are just not to me very good, and it's not that they're not. There's so many bourbons that are drinkable, right? Like
Right.
I can drink Henry McKenna 10. I just would rather not. Like
Yeah.
you would have to pay me to drink it.
Yeah.
Basil Hayden, you would have to pay me to drink it, but I would still drink it. You know.
But that's an important classification to know is that, yes, you can drink anything that's in a bottle.
Yes, I can-
But are you going to enjoy it? Are you going to
I mean, some of the
feel like
Clyde
you paid
Mazes
for
I've
it?
had were just absolute trash too.
Yeah.
So, like,
You know?
Basil Hayden is a really good one once you've had like 6 pours of something totally else and you feel like you still need something just to kind of get you over the edge.
Basil Hayden was a gateway drug, like right? Like I mean, it's
It's every new bourbon drinker's. Like,
yes.
Oh my
I mean,
God,
it's,
this is
it's
delicious.
80
And
proof.
Yeah,
and blah,
it's
blah,
it's a
blah.
low
doesn't
proof,
burn.
but,
Yeah.
but at the same time, you know, you got to
It's
understand
smooth.
bourbons.
It's just so lackluster.
Bourbons need to have that.
Yeah.
That a little
And-
bit of that,
and they don't,
a little
but-
bit of that burn to really.
But they
be-
don't. They don't have to have burn to be good. Like, but like
It's the
Hancock's is a
Kentucky hug.
perfect example.
Yeah.
Though.
Hancock's
Yeah.
is delicious.
Hancock's is a beautiful pour. It's 88.9 proof.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
It's below your standard 90. And it's a beautiful pour, but it's older, right? Like it's a 9-10-year-old bourbon. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good pour.
Any dumbass that says that Hancock's is overrated is just a dumbass.
I mean, it's not a smart choice to say that. Now, I will say the fact that what Nick said was the mash bill number 2, it is definitely the most overrated portion of the Buffalo Trace product set.
Oh, God, yeah.
Absolutely.
So, that being said, that's what it is. Any other hot takes? Underrated bourbons, whiskeys, anything like that?
No.
All right. That sounds like that's our episode. Go ahead, Jared.
I was just going to ask, would you say anything at Starlight is underrated? That's just my overarching question.
I think Starlight Rye in general are underrated.
Okay.
Now that
Okay.
being said, I love Ted. I love Dana. I love Christian Blake. I think the family's fantastic. I feel like they've gotten a little heavy on the price point.
Yes.
I feel like a lot of
'Cause
crafty or
3.5 years
distilleries-
ago, 2.5 years ago, like when we first did our first barrel pick, it was $49.99 for bourbon. It was $52.99 for rye.
Okay.
Now it's like $59.99, $60.99.
Okay.
I just feel like they've kind of been progress. And don't get me wrong, costs have gone up, right?
yeah.
I'm not.
Absolutely.
I'm just saying. To me, I feel like it's gotten. I feel like it's went up more incrementally than the cost of getting the materials. And I may be completely off kilter. I may be.
Okay.
Well, and Jody does a lot. The barrel pick program at Starlight has really just gone insane.
Yeah.
I think.
It was on a super high trajectory before Andrew took it over. I think James was doing a fantastic job. But I will say, the recent Vidian, the Saturns, and then most recently Ambriana has made that entire program explode.
Yes.
And then on top of those, we've had 3 or 4 other finishes that I think are absolutely fantastic. The Pinot, the Descharance bottles, those are
Absolutely.
great. What was what's the one that it's not Takai? What's the other one?
The Scottish ale?
The Scottish Ale was good.
Scottish Ale
it was
was
good.
fantastic.
There was
Yeah.
another wine barrel that was
Sherry?
PX Sherry.
PX
PX Sherry,
Like,
that one.
That's what I'm saying. There's some things that were just
out of the
absolutely
park.
yeah. That I've not had a bad one. Like I mean, like, and I've tried a lot.
My
I mean,
only problem with those is it's just plum,
yeah,
all
dude,
in your
it's
face
a-
and your nose and everywhere.
It's a ton of dark fruit. You're 100% right.
Absolutely.
No. It's a ton of plum. That's all it is. That's all I get.
We'll agree to disagree on that one. I don't think it's all plum.
It's pretty plummy.
Scott, I'm
they
with
are
you on
very
this one.
plummy.
Yeah.
They
Most
are.
of them are, but not all of them.
But not all
Most
of
of
them.
them.
Then I
agreed
probably
with you,
haven't
Scott.
had those. I've only had a few.
You probably not had as many as me.
Yeah.
That's probably true.
I haven't had as much as you of just about everything that's named bourbon or rye or whiskey. Period. Like
That brings up a
period.
good point, though. Like, does the underratedness correlate to how quickly the brand is taking off? You know,
I mean, you could say that maybe. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it would also correlate to region. I mean, we are in
so that's
bourbon heaven.
Yeah.
Starlight is not as underrated in this region as it would be in other places because it's more readily available here, and I think people know what it is and buy it and they like it, right?
Yes.
Had you asked me if Starlight was super underrated 2.5 years ago, I'd have been like, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Most people don't know what it is. They have no idea, but they've
Yeah.
grown the market share and, and
Right.
their capabilities so much in the last 2.5 years that, like I said, other than their rise, which I think so many people have gone to the finishes because they finish and they finish well. Like
Yes,
they
they do.
understand it, they know it, but their rise are just really good. Really
Absolutely.
their old Rickhouse rye.
good. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
100%. Especially
Yeah.
the barrel strength ones.
Yes. Yes.
Matter of
Absolutely.
fact, I will say only the barrel strength ones. But, I've not been a big fan of any of the 92 proofs that I've seen
Okay.
released or that I've had. Everything that I'm talking about from Starlight to me has all been barrel strength. All right. Is that our episode?
That's our episode.
I think
Scott.
so.
And that's our episode of Bourbon Barrel Talk. If you want to find us, you can find us on the Facebook, the Instagram, the Twitter. You can email us at bourbonbarreltalk@gmail.com. If you want to get an episode as soon as it's dropped on Sunday, what do you do, Jared?
You
Hit the subscribe
and
buttons.
subscribe,
There we go. There we go.
and you smack your mother.
There you go. Spank her ass and call her Charlie, right?
Damn straight. I
Absolutely.
love smacking. I'm sorry.
Anyway,
Isn't
that
it Susan?
anyway, that is our
Don't
episode of
listen to
Bourbon
this.
Barrel Talk. If you, like I said, if you need to find us, make sure you email us bourbonbarreltalk@gmail.com and hit the subscribe button. This is Scott, Jared, Barbara, and Johnny Tsunami signing off. Peace.
Peace out.